The Oklahoma Sooners traveled to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This game's 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC. The 8-1 Crimson Tide starting to really round into form on the defensive side, and the offense, just a super efficient passing attack that has been on their game almost every single week. The 7-2 Sooners still elite on the defensive side of the football. You look at the numbers kind of across the board, total defense, stopping the run, all these things. Their defense from top to bottom is very much probably the best Alabama will have seen up to this point of the season. Question number one, how much will Alabama try to force the run game? Now, right now, Alabama, they're 120th in the FBS in rushing offense. They run for under 112 yards a game. Their yards per carry average is about 3.5. And last week against LSU, the rushing attack was neutralized again. They finished with just 56 yards on 26 attempts. The longest run was a 17-yarder. That was from their quarterback, Simpson. And the leading rusher, Daniel Hill, had just 21 yards. And if there's one thing we know about Brent Venables, is that the defensive identity that he has instilled at every place he's ever been, they start by stopping the run. They are fourth right now in the FBS in rush defense. They allow just over 82 yards a game. Opponents average just 2.5 yards per carry. This is a really formidable front with probably the best defensive line personnel in the SEC. So you know that Brent Venables wants to stop the run. The question is, what resources defensively does he have to utilize to stop the run? Because if Alabama is unable to run the ball against the defensive line, then do you have to drop a safety down? Do you have to keep those guys at the second level or the third level? Do you have to keep their eyes in the backfield to respect the commitment that Alabama might show to running the football? So if he doesn't need to keep his safeties involved, he can keep them high, which would be beneficial in stopping what is an outstanding passing attack. But if Alabama can start to run the football and be patient and find some success on the ground, that would alter their defensive structure. And all of a sudden, those guys might be forced to play not just the pass, but also the run. So that might be kind of the enabler for the biggest battle of the game. Alabama's passing attack against an Oklahoma defense that might be able to dedicate all of their defensive resources to stopping it, which leads us to one of the biggest determining questions of the game. Question number two, will Oklahoma's pass rush be able to get home? Now, one key area to look at here is the health of Oklahoma defensive end R. Mason Thomas. Now, he is a premier pass rusher. He's got great juice off the edge. He's registered a bunch of disruptive moments this year. The sack numbers are not massive, but the amount of disrupted dropbacks is. And the amount of attention you have to pay offensively to him coming off the edge. He's got a bunch of tackles for loss, he's got a handful of sacks, but his availability right now is in serious doubt. According to head coach Brent Venables, he had a, quote, little bit of a quad pull, end quote, during what was an unbelievable 71-yard fumble return to the house against Tennessee. He played just 17 snaps in that ballgame. So if R. Mason Thomas is out or limited, then you have to wonder, will Oklahoma be able to generate pass rush with just a four-man pressure? If he's not out there, they might not be able to. So what does Brent Venables have to do to accommodate for that lack of a legitimate pass rush? He might have to blitz. Might have to manufacture some pressure by sending his linebackers like Kip Lewis or bringing a safety down and blitzing him. And a blitz-heavy approach would potentially leave Oklahoma's pass defense in a bit of a vulnerable predicament where they have some one-on-ones against Alabama's outstanding wide receivers and going against a quarterback in Simpson that is really good at diagnosing where the pressure is coming from. He's been so efficient and just really, really smart all throughout the season. He has just one interception. He's thrown 21 touchdowns. And the way he can set the protection, the way he can get you lined up, make audibles, make adjustments there in the pre-snap has been second to none in all of college football. So Kalen DeBoer, along with Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, they want to play kind of a spread it out. They want to do some air raid style, but more ball control air raid. So they're going to try to attack all three levels of the defense. And this receiver core is outstanding. Jeremy Bernard's been the bell cow all season long. Ryan Williams still has the ability to take over the game. Then Isaiah Horton, with his length, becomes a real matchup problem for anybody on the perimeter. Question number 3, how will Oklahoma's offensive line hold up? Now, the Sooners' offense statistically is one of the worst in the SEC, but it's really been about the offensive line. If you look at the total offense numbers, the rushing offense numbers, the scoring offense numbers, most of their challenges have come because of some ineptitudes along the offensive line. And they've had some guys that have been in and out of the lineup. They've had some challenges there, and it was fully exposed against Texas when they lost 23-6. In that game, the Sooners O-line was completely dominated. They ran for just 48 yards on 30 carries, and they couldn't really get any push, which led Texas just teeing off and John Mateer feeling that pressure from the pass rush throughout the entire game. Now, Alabama's defense, they've been rounding into form these last couple weeks. I think Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator, this defense, they have elite playmakers. Now, you look at the numbers, they're not going to blow you away. The rushing numbers, not going to blow you away at all. Now, very good in the back end, but when you look at it, they force turnovers, they force takeaways, and they make plays on the ball. Question 4, will their offense and John Mateer play a smart football game? When you watch John Mateer over the course of his career, not just at Oklahoma, but also dating back to his time at Washington State, the bigger the game, the more he has been likely to press. He has 7 picks this season, but you can even look back to Boise State last year, against Texas this year, against Ole Miss this year. There were times where he just was trying to do a little too much, and it led to either negative plays, interceptions, inaccurate throws, and poor game management. In this game, he's got to play smart because Alabama has forced 16 takeaways this year. They are plus 10 in turnover margin. Oklahoma, by the way, they all seem to be good from a penalty standpoint. So the entire team needs to be smart because Alabama does have some advantages and will take advantage of your mistakes if you decide to make them on a self-inflicted basis. Oklahoma is 109th right now when it comes to penalties. And while the offense is not the primary culprit, it's mostly on defense, but regardless, you cannot get behind the sticks against Alabama. And then question 5, how much will John Mateer's legs be a factor in this game? We've already documented that the run game for Oklahoma has not always been a real critical component of how they've been attacking folks. But I do think John Mateer's legs are massive in this game. Oklahoma knocked off Alabama last year in part because of quarterback run game, and then they turned Alabama over. If John Mateer's legs can be a factor, and now Alabama's secondary has to go up and play the run, it could leave for some opportunities outside where Oklahoma's wide receivers could win some one-on-ones. I will not make a pick on this game. I'll be on the call alongside Sean McDonough and Molly McGrath from Tuscaloosa.